Welcome, listeners, to the Lust for Life podcast, where you'll be joining a girl on her journey to discovering the depths of emotional intelligence. This is your host, Tennessee Reed. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a good week. I had a good week. I had a lot of learning experiences. I had some hard parts of my week that I'll talk about today. But overall, a lot happened this week, and a lot of manifesting happened this week, which is pretty cool. I probably won't share on this podcast because I think things are still manifesting and still coming alive. But I'll just say it's pretty insane what God does. And it's pretty insane when you start manifesting what things happen because even when you don't think it is going to, your mind like starts to create these opportunities when you let it, and it's pretty cool. And I'm pretty happy with where my life is going. I'm pretty proud of myself for all the work I've done, and I'm pretty proud of myself for how far I've come. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Um, I'll probably spill the beans in a podcast a little bit later, but things are still in the works. So for right now, I'll just say God is good. Um, I I thank him for so much every single day, and I'm so grateful for my relationship with him. But for today, I want to talk about, sorry, I feel like I need to sneeze. So if I sneeze randomly, that's why. Hopefully I can turn away from the microphone so it doesn't freak you out. Today I want to talk about something that happens quite often and is happening more and more with me. And it is in relation to my anxiety, but I actually posted this on my Instagram and I've had a couple responses being like, me too, girl. And this is obviously not talked about enough. And that is why I do this podcast, is because I want to create that environment, that healthy environment for us to grow together, for us to show our insecurities and help each other through it. I feel like there is a lack of that. And I feel like we're always just trying to put our best foot forward when maybe that is actually the worst thing we can do for our healing, because that's what I did forever. But back to anxiety. Um, as y'all know, I started some anti-anxiety meds like in January, and I was actually really happy with the edge that they took off. I was sleeping really well. I was just calm, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is really nice." Like, I feel like my mind is like moving at zero point 0.5 or 0.75 speed instead of like 5 times speed, and I could actually sleep at night. So that was really nice. And then I started developing these night sweats that were unbearable. I wasn't sleeping at night, and obviously we need to sleep. So I started another med and it worked for like 3 weeks. And then the night sweats were like 10 times worse on that med. And I couldn't get in contact with the doctor's office. So I was like, forget it. I'm going to cold turkey this. I'm getting off these meds. Do not do that, you guys. Seriously, that was not medical advice. It's just what I did. You literally need to consult your medical doctor before doing that. I happen to know what med I was on, and it was okay because I am a nurse and I've seen those meds before. I know what a high dosage is. I was at a low dosage. So please don't do that. Seriously, it can cause a lot of harm if you don't do it right. Anyway, so I just got off my meds, and it was honestly the hardest 3 weeks of my entire life. Probably not the hardest 3 weeks of my entire life, but it was really, really hard. I felt like I was a drug addict getting off drugs, like withdrawing. My body was truly addicted to it. Like my mind was not. It was nice to have them, but physiologically my body was addicted to it. And so I had a lot of those effects coming off of it, like sweating, night sweats still for like multiple weeks, not sleeping, a lot of rebound anxiety, and just hyperactive thoughts. My body was hyperactive. I was nauseous, like so it was so bad. And I didn't think it was going to be that bad because I thought I was on a low enough dose where I could kind of just cut it out. But yeah, that did not go as planned. So that was really, really hard. And I did not sleep. I seriously got maybe 1 to 2 hours of sleep every night. And then like a weekend would hit and I was able to take like a 3 hour nap during the day and then it resumed again. It was so hard. I would literally sweat through my scrubs at work, and like our scrubs are not black, they are not white. Like you could fully see I was soaked through my scrubs. Like it was really embarrassing. Um, so yeah, it was a really hard week, hard few weeks doing that. But it has been a process to kind of like learn to rewire my mind without those. Because clearly I don't respond well to any of them, and I will probably never get on any meds like that again because any med that alters my brain chemistry, literally, like I do not do well with. Like honestly, any med, like even antihistamines, it sounds crazy, will give me the worst restless legs. Like I want to rip my hair out. So I've learned that like my body does not respond well to meds. I'm like, if there's a side effect, I will have it. Um, so yeah, that's been a journey, kind of like knowing like medication is really not going to be an option for me. And so this whole rewiring of the brain really is my only option, which is what I was doing. I was doing the work before, but this truly is like my only option. So it's been really hard at night because my brain will not shut off. I will exercise literally hours, like, and I still like my brain will not shut off. I will be like dead dog tired and my brain will just keep going and I'm just wide awake. And then I'll end up like going to the gym or like just being so frustrated laying in bed. And then you're like, okay, great, I have to go to work now off of zero sleep and a bunch of tossing and turning all night. And it's so aggravating. And this morning was one of those mornings. And it was like I literally didn't fall asleep. I posted on my Instagram, but it was 3:30 this morning. And I was like, that's it. I'm just going to the gym. I'm just because I wanted to do a double workout today. So I'm just gonna do my first workout right now. And thank goodness. Luckily, I did not have work today and I was able to come back after the workout and sleep an hour. But some days, most days I don't have that option. But today I luckily was able to sleep an hour. Um, and then now I'm doing this. But back to the workout this morning, I was so frustrated with my mind. Sometimes I get really frustrated with my mind. I'm like, gosh, like, why can't I just do what I'm trying to do? Like, it's kind of a hard concept to like describe to somebody. So I'll do my best. But essentially, my conscious mind is very motivated. My conscious mind is very like organized. I actually am a very brave person. I'm not afraid to like have hard conversations. I'm not afraid to step out of my comfort zone. I'm not afraid to push myself, all those things. I'm actually a really brave person and I really like that about myself. What the hard part is my subconscious, something that like truly is almost, it feels like out of my hands right now. My subconscious is what's directing my thoughts at night. And it's always so stressed out. My subconscious is always going, it's always stressed out. And then it kind of interrupts my conscious mind. And then that kind of gets involved at night, if that makes any sense. That's the best way I can describe it. I feel like I have full reins over my conscious mind. Like I'm really doing well. I'm doing so well. And when it comes to my subconscious, it's like it is hard to control that. You really, really have to put in the work. And right now I'm like, I don't see any difference. I mean, I'm sure I do, but like it's kind of frustrating sometimes because it takes a lot of work and you see little to no difference. And I do feel like when you're trying to change your subconscious, it may even get worse before it gets better because you're uncovering those things that you covered for so long. And so at night, like with my mind being so wired, I have bad dreams every single night. I have bad dreams every single night, and I even will have night terrors to the point where I like can't get out of the dream, or if like I'm like this feels like reality, like, and so I will keep myself awake because I'm so scared to have those bad dreams again. And so like if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like that was such a terrifying dream. I will literally get on Instagram and try to wake my brain up because I was so scared. Because I knew if I fell back asleep, that same dream would come back. And like, I honestly get to the point where like, I'm scared to go to the bathroom because I'm scared of the dark because of my scary dreams. And so it's like kind of scary, but it's also hard because Jake, my husband, like, I don't want to have all these night lights because he can't sleep. And so it's been also hard on my husband because I feel like I have kept him awake a lot too, even though he's been really nice and said I haven't. I know I have. And um yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of in this circle right now of bad dreams. I don't want to fall back asleep because it's such a bad dream. It's so scary. And then I try to keep my brain awake, and now my brain's awake. And now I'm trying to make it go back to sleep because I kind of reset the rhythm so that hopefully I wouldn't have another bad dream, even though I usually do. Um, so it's kind of stressful. Like a night is kind of like a battle for me right now. Um, and I don't feel like it used to always be this way. And I kind of wonder if it's because like I'm doing the work and I'm kind of like uncovering those patterns that I covered for so long, and it's kind of like erupting a little bit and kind of clearing out. And I kind of wonder over time that will hopefully get better. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like my journey right now. Along with those restless nights, my legs get very restless. I get very itchy. Because my body's just kind of like hyper aroused and like so my legs are very like I'm like I need to move my legs and they get very very restless and um I actually will end up getting up and getting a bite to eat or something, hopefully like settling things down because sometimes when you eat stuff, your blood goes to your core and it actually will cool your body down. And when you cool your body down, you can sleep better. And so that's what I try to do at night sometimes. And it used to help, but I don't feel like it's helping anymore, unfortunately. But I still am trying that too. But yeah, fun tip. That does sometimes help. Your dentist will probably not agree with me, but it will cool you down. By having your stomach digesting things, your blood will naturally go to your gut and it will kind of cool everything down. But yeah, that's kind of been my journey so far. It's kind of a hard balance because I feel like I'm still battling with like defining myself with anxiety a little bit. Um, Not that it's a weakness, but it's definitely not something I'm proud of. It's definitely something that I'm trying to fix because I don't like it. So I wouldn't say it's something I'm proud of. And so I'm trying my best right now to not let this define me, um, and not like totally embrace it, being like, I'm not going out tonight because I have anxiety. I'm trying to plan things ahead, knowing I have anxiety. So if I plan things ahead, um, then I'm a little more prepared and I can handle it. Or I just purely will continue to go out and just face that anxiety. I just really I don't want to just have that be my whole personality is and my excuse. I don't want it to be I have anxiety because that that's not going to get me anywhere. I am saying that I have anxiety, but I don't think that defines me. It's a challenge that I have to work through. It's a challenge that um I was given and I'm doing my best with it right now. But it's kind of a battle. But I will say I feel like I covered it up for so long. I feel like I've always kind of been a worrier, like meaning I worry about things. And I think that was kind of my signs of like I was starting to get anxiety and I was starting to learn how to try to anticipate situations and try to control situations. And when you can't do that, it gives you a lot of anxiety. So I feel like I covered it up for so long because A, I didn't know that's what anxiety was. And B, I did not want to accept that I had anxiety. I did not want to have that. I viewed it as a weakness. I viewed it as um, people were going to look at me differently. And I viewed it as something that was just going to like hinder my character. And I was like, I refuse to have anxiety. Um, but ultimately, like, I feel like that made it worse. I covered it up, especially, years, probably 18 to 22. I like suppressed it so hard, um, and just pretended it wasn't there. And I feel like it made it worse. I feel like I am kind of playing cleanup on that a little bit, but I think it's important to address the anxiety and it's important to do the work and it sucks. It freaking sucks so bad, but it's the only way. No one can do it for you. It's the only way that you're gonna be free from it. And I'm not free from it yet, but that is my manifestation of this is I know that if I continue to do my very best every day, continue to do the work, continue to build this community on my way, knowing that other people are kind of suffering the same way I am a little bit, that we can help heal each other and we're all going to be okay. We're all going to make it. We're all going to help each other through this. It may never go away entirely, but we can at least get it to a level where it's not affecting us in our daily lives so much. And that takes a lot of work. But kind of a like cool thing that happened to me last night when I was going to the gym was I was 3:30 in the morning and I was texting one of my really good friends and she just started sending me stuff on Instagram. As I started responding to it, I'm like, she's probably wondering what the heck am I doing up at this hour? She's from Utah. So the 2 hour time difference. So it was 1:30 in the morning. Um, and she started sending me these kind of like woman empowerment videos, which she has sent to me in the past, and I love them. Because I'm all about woman empowerment. That is like my love language. Anyway, so she actually texted me while I was at the gym, like some more videos and stuff. And I just felt I know our relationship, and I was just like, I'm just gonna tell her, like, I'm like, hey, if you're curious why I'm up at this hour, like, it's because I have anxiety, and this is just what it looks like right now, and this is just how I'm dealing with it, and I actually want to go get my phone to read it to you. One second. Okay, so this is. This is what I said to her. I said, FYI, if you're wondering why I am up this late, I actually have not gone to bed. I really try not to let my anxiety define me, but sometimes you just can't defy the symptoms. It really is hard work to require or to rewire the brain you spent 22 years developing. So that's what I said. And then she said this in response to me. She said, "Oh, cutie, this makes me both smile and chuckle. I'm in Kauai right now with a girlfriend, so it is actually not that late for me. So it's actually not that late for her if you do the time zone differences." Anyway, she said, "You'll be okay. If being at the gym at 3:40 works for you now, so be it. That's okay. Don't apologize. You're figuring it out." I just loved that. I'm like, she is accepting that this is our situation. And maybe that is part of the key is just accepting that this is the way it is right now and trying to fight it and constantly trying to fight your brain may do worse for you. So we can continue to do the work to try to rewire in the way we can, but the response from our subconscious sometimes we cannot control. And if that means we go to the gym in the morning at that time, then so be it, because I know that this is not going to be forever. And she actually texted me back saying, um, finish this sentence for me. And it was the sentence that I texted her saying, um, it is really hard work to rewire the brain you spent 22 years developing. And she texted back saying, finish that sentence. So I texted her back finishing the sentence and I said, it is really hard work to rewire the anxious brain I spent 22 years developing, but I am on the right track and I am proud of who I am becoming and I am stoked to see what I continue to achieve, even though it will be difficult. Oh gosh, you guys, this is why I love community. That meant so much to me that she texted me that. It meant so much to me that she believes in me and she just brought me so much peace by saying, essentially, just accept that's where you are right now. And maybe that's part of like why I'm anxious all the time is I just am not accepting who I am. And I kind of am like always making sure I'm pushing myself forward, which is a good thing. But I've said this in my last podcast. I think I need to be more where my feet are. And I kind of need to just take time to just think in the moment, have plans for the future, and think in the moment. So that way I'm still progressing, but then I can also be in the moment at the same time. So that's essentially what she was saying. And also just accepting your mind, that this is your mind and you love your mind. We're going to help your mind, but you love your mind. So I do feel like I was being a bit angry with my mind yesterday or last night. And I just I do feel like I could be kinder. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna rip my hair out if I don't sleep. Like, but if you just accept that's how it is, then I do believe that that will help it um resolve and become better. But it just takes time and it takes work. And I just love how she said, if you're going to the gym at 3:40 in the morning right now, then so be it. That's how it is, and it works for you right now. And just accept it. And I have a feeling once I just accept things, things will probably start to slow down in my mind, even though that's a really easier said than done. So it's really hard, but that's something I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on just accepting things. I will leave one last tidbit about this experience. This is not pity me at all. This is sharing my experience and sharing my growth and sharing my reflection on this situation and how to grow from it. Um, so I'll leave this last little tidbit though. This anxiety has been so hard on my marriage, so hard. And that's a big driving factor of why I am working so hard to help my mind. And that being said, is I really have no sexual drive at the moment. I love Jake. I think he is so handsome. I think he is literally the best person in the world. But when my mind is so anxious and it's so wired all the time, it's in this fight or flight naturally. And so I am not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about reproducing because my body is in fight or flight. And I I really do need to learn how to calm my mind and just accept it and be present in the moment because that's not healthy for a marriage. And Jake and I have worked really hard together and we have worked really closely together on this. We're closer in ways because of it. Jake and I talk about all the time that there's so many different pillars that hold a marriage up that all need to work. And we feel like we have all the other pillars up except for this one. So that has been a journey and we are continuing to work on it. I go to therapy for it. But it's sometimes really hard when it affects your spouse the way your mind is, and you feel like you sometimes have no control over it. And so it just takes work, and it just takes one nick at a time, and having faith and having belief that you can get through it, and having belief that you can change your mind and you can change. I believe is key. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to continue to read good books. I'm going to continue to go to therapy. I'm going to take my friend's advice and just accept and love where I am right now and how far I've come. And just know that it's going to get better. And this is just where I'm at. But once again, I did not make this episode as, a pity party. I made this episode to help relate to others because I didn't really have anyone to relate this to. And so I'm hoping that this validates others' feelings and maybe inspires them to open up a little bit and um, to find themselves doing the work and working through it. It's not easy. It opens up a lot of old things that are under the rug. Um, and I can't tell you right now it's worth it. Like I can't tell you I've gone through all of it right now, but I know I have faith that it will be worth it. And I've seen people who have done the work and what they look like now. And it will be worth it, you guys. So That is my podcast episode for today. Just kind of sharing my story of the last couple weeks and kind of reflecting on it and how I can incorporate that and improve my ways of how I think and how I perceive my mind. But once again, so grateful you all are here. I do want to remind you all that we are having a book club. If you are interested in joining that book club and joining the community, my current read is on my Instagram, just in my bio. And we are finishing up The Mountain Is You, and we're going to meet at the end of this month, beginning of June, to do a podcast episode on it. So even if you can't make the podcast episode, and if you want to make it, just message me. But if you can't, it will be published on uh, this weekly podcast, so you can kind of join in there and participate there. And if you are interested in joining the live podcast and reading the book and sharing your thoughts with us live on the podcast, just message me through Instagram. I'm super happy to add you to the group. But yeah, this was this week. Lots of learning experiences. I hope you found it helpful. If you know a friend that maybe you would find it helpful, feel free to send it to them. But yeah, I appreciate you all. I appreciate the community, and I will see you all next week. Love you all.